Welcome to Lesson 1, Overview of Project Management. In this lesson, we'll cover definition of a project and its management. We'll talk about key characteristics of a project and we'll give examples of a project. Now let's jump into it. What is a project? A project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. It is a specific time-bound initiative with a defined beginning and end. So, a project is temporary and is an initiative or is an undertaking to create a unique result. It could be product, it could be service. A project is specific, it is time-bound, and it has a definite start and end dates. Projects are typically undertaken to achieve specific goals, objectives within predetermined constraints. So every project we come up with is intended to achieve some unique results or specific goals. And these projects operate within predetermined constraints, which could be time, budget, resources, and scope. So every project requires time to be completed. Every project requires a budget to be carried on. Every project requires resources, human, materials, and equipment. Every project also needs a scope. That means the project must operate within a limitation of a scope, which will be looking at the key things that the project will cover. Now, there are key characteristics of a project that will enable us identify a project once we see it. Number one, a project is temporary in nature. Projects have a defined start and end date. So a project is not everlasting. A project is not like an operation that has no end, but a project is temporary in nature. So it means that every project must start and end. A project also delivers unique deliverables. Each project is distinct and aims to create a unique or specific output, which can be a product, service, or outcome that is direct or different from routine operations. So operations can be straightforward, or operations are day-to-day work that we do within a business, within an organization. While projects is not specifically an operation, but project is a time-bound initiative that we do. And when we done with the project, or when we deliver the project at the end, the project gives a specific result, which could be a product, service, or outcome. And then we can now operate that result. Then we have specific objectives. Every project has objectives. Every project wants to deliver on unique results. So projects are undertaken to achieve specific goals. It could be meeting or solving a problem. It could be meeting a specific need of a community. It could be capitalizing on an opportunity that you have identified. So a project must have a clear goal that must drive the project or activities. So every project should aim at changing a life, should aim at improving, should aim at solving problems, should aim at creating opportunities. And there are constraints also in project. What are constraints? Project operates within limitations and constraints. So every project operates within a set of limitations. That means a project is not implemented without a limitation. And that is why a project must have a time, a unique time that we are going to carry on the project because of the limitation. A project must operate within budget. There is a unique cost to operate the budget, so to operate the project. So we need to have a budget that will inform us on what the project will cost and how much are we going to spend at every step of the way. Project requires resources, materials, human, and financial. And also look at equipment. Project operates within a limitation of scope. All right. It could be that your project is limited within a specific environment. Your project may be limited to certain number of beneficiaries. Your project may be limited to target group like youth, children, adults, people with disabilities, or different groups. So every project must have a scope. So the scope is what defines the project, or is the perimeter of the project, what the project will cover: geographical location, target group, and specific objectives and activities that the project will achieve. Let's talk about key characteristics of a project, looking at cross-functional as well, which is part of that key characteristics. So projects often involve multiple stakeholders, And these multiple stakeholders could be departments in organizations, it could be disciplines, it could be different stakeholders, including donors, funders, leaders, influencers. Actually, stakeholders are individuals, organizations, or or different groups that have interests in the project. They could have direct influence or indirect influence with the project, but they have interest in the project, and to some extent they support the project, and some do not support the project directly, but they have interest in the project. Okay, take for instance government ministry agency. They may not support the project directly, but they have interest in that project once you are operating it within their sector. So every project requires collaboration and coordination among team members with diverse skills and expertise. So every project will require a team. And so the project team will include people with diverse skills, people with diverse expertise. And so there must be collaboration and coordination in the process to encourage teamwork, and it also ensure that team members work together to achieve the project goals. Project also has risks and uncertainty. So projects involve a certain level of uncertainty and inherent risks. Project managers identify risks. That means your work as a project manager, you need to identify and manage risks to ensure successful project completion. Then you have organizational impact. Here we need to look at how does the project impact the organization? How does the project impact the company? So if you have a company or a business you're operating and you are implementing a project within that business, say you are expanding the business, say you are purchasing a new equipment, or you are trying to secure a new space. So you need to look at the impact of that project on the business or the organization. How does it contribute to your organizational goals? How does it lead to your vision? How does it lead to your performance? How does it increase your other aspect of the business, including customer flow, including improvement, performance, and your strategic goals or the overall vision of the organization? So they contribute to the overall objectives of the organization, and that's why we implement projects. Then let's explore some examples of a project. So example of a project can vary from different industry to industry, different sector to sector. But here we have some few examples of a project. Basically, one is a project could be a new software application that we're trying to develop. So if we are trying to create a new software application or mobile technology or website development to improve our service delivery or create access to information, that is a project also. If we are constructing a building, okay, whether a school building, whether a personal building, we are also having a project. So if we are organizing an event, it could be a wedding, it could be a birthday party, it could be a kind of event, any event, of course, that has start and end date, because it's temporary in nature and that event has a unique goal. So it could be graduation event as well. Whatever event it is that's going to end, it is also a project. Then we have implementing a marketing campaign. This is where if your business is running a specific marketing campaign to drive sales and also make sure that you create awareness of your product or your new service, that is also project. Conducting research studies is also a project, because the research will have a start and end dates, of course, and the research has a goal, and the research is trying to establish something, either solve a problem or try to identify a problem. And then you got launching a new product. So launching a new product, say you've created a new product within your business and you want to launch that new product, like Gone Academy that launched the Gone Academy learning management system. That is a new kind of improvement to the service that we've done, and we were launching that new product. So that is a project, because the launch has ended and now the product is up and we're now operating it. So constructing a hand pump as what is a project, because the construction of the hand pump will actually end. It is temporary in nature. However, the hand pump will remain after we constructed it, and that means the hand pump will create impact. Okay, so a project will solve problems, a project will create impact. However, the project component will end, because we will start and end, and we see the output, which is the hand pump. The output is the hand pump of that particular project, and that output will create impact and will also create some changes in the environment. So projects can be found in various industries and different sectors, including construction, So construction industry, you could see road construction, bridges, you could see buildings and or infrastructure development. So these are construction projects. And of course, you see technology in the tech industry, the IT, the information technology industry. You also see projects like building software, building IT infrastructure, and also building IT systems. And then you got healthcare. In the healthcare sector, you will see a lot of projects around healthcare, targeting maternal health, targeting infant mortality, targeting other issues around health. And then you got education project, which could be implemented to create access to education, creating vocational education program that will enable young people to access skills and all that. So these are all projects in different sectors. It could be in the government sector, public or private sector. It could be the NGO space, like the non-governmental organizations that implement projects. Civil society, CSOs, also implement projects. Community-based organizations, CBOs, and all the forms of organizations that carry on projects. Even businesses also implement projects at different levels. Now, effective project management practices are essential for planning, organizing, and controlling projects to ensure successful outcomes and deliver value to stakeholders. The purpose of effective project management is to ensure that we take over the entire process from planning, organizing, controlling, until the project is successfully completed and we deliver value to stakeholders. Value is the end result of the project that the stakeholder will be satisfied with once we have done the project. And let's explore on what a project is or what a project management is. Of course, we talked about what a project is as a temporary endeavor that has a unique start and end date, and the project creates a unique product or service. And that product or service that we create from the project creates impact, or it could be long-lasting impact as well. Okay, so there can be short-term and long-term impact. So for us to implement project, there are steps, there are unique steps that we take. There are processes involved, and that unique process or the unique steps we take in managing in implementing project requires project management. So project management basically is a practice of planning, organizing, and controlling resources and activities to achieve specific objectives within a defined time frame. So a project management involves that practice of planning the project, organizing the project, and controlling other aspects of the project, including the resources and activity to achieve the project objectives that we have set at the beginning of the project within the time frame. And so project management involves coordinating and leading a team to accomplish project goals while managing constraints such as time, cost, quality, scope, and rates. So when we talk about project management, we are talking about a project manager. Of course, we can leave project manager out of project management once we're mentioning about project management. So what does the project manager do instead? The project manager is responsible for planning, coordinating, and overseeing the project execution of a project from start to end. So your work as a project manager is to ensure that you plan, coordinate, and oversee the entire project execution from start to finish. Project managers are responsible for achieving project objectives within the defined constraints of time, cost, quality, scope, and risks. The primary role of project managers are to manage resources, including people, materials, and equipment, facilitating communication with stakeholders and ensuring that everyone has access to information and update and they are able to receive the necessary support to carry on the project activities. You also need to ensure that project stakeholders are satisfied with the project results. Who are the stakeholders? Those who have interest in the project. They could be investors, they could be donors, they could be beneficiaries, they could be project staff, they could be organizations and other ministries and agencies that are directly linked to the project activities. Now, in order to effectively manage a project, you need to have some essential skills that will enable you to do that. So some of the relevant skills that you need to have as a project manager include strong leadership skill. Of course, as a project manager, you are the leader of the project and you are working with a team. And so your work is to ensure that you provide leadership to the team. You need to provide communication. That will mean regularly communicating with stakeholders and team members to ensure that every task is completed on time and on budget. You need to also solve problems along the way. So problem solving is a critical skill that you need to develop as a project manager. So you need to also adapt to changing circumstances, as a project environment will always change. There might be risks and other challenges that you need to manage along the way. So a project manager needs to adapt to changes and also be able to be flexible to accept challenging situations and manage risks. You also need to make informed decisions. So decision making is a critical skill in the life of a project manager. A project manager must also have good understanding of project management methodologies. So it includes the agile approach, the iterative approach, and other approaches used in project management. You also need to know about project management tools like Asana, Monday.com, Trello, and several other project management tools that you can use to plan your project and also execute the project in real time. You also need to understand some best practices when it comes to project success. Now, in conclusion, throughout the project management process, effective communication, leadership, stakeholder management are crucial. Project managers should also foster a collaborative and positive team environment, adapt to changes, and ensure that the project aligns with organizational goals and objectives. Thanks for completing this lesson on the overview of project management. See you in the next lesson.